What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today, as a lot of you have requested and got the video above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, I'm going to bring you a test and combo video for the Nekroz profile I showed you all the other day. Now, as a quick disclaimer and a note, in that profile I showed you the other day, there were still 4 slots in the main deck that I wasn't completely sold on, so for this test and purpose, I've decided to go for Dominus Impulse and a Ghost Spell to fill in that final slot. But the idea is, throughout this test stand, if we do see those cards, they are pretty much going to act as a hand trap interaction during our opponent's turn, or even during our turn, should we need it. What I'm going to do here, and I'm going to shuffle up, we're going to do 2 test stands going first and 2 going second, so you have a bit of an idea of how this field can be built, and also how you can break a field as well. So, with everything out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe, so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. After a very decent shuffle, and a good old cut, our starting hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this hand screams droll me. As much as I would love to say this hand plays through droll, it really does not. It's a really good hand if there's no droll. Which, droll considering it's probably more in the side deck than it is in the main deck. Whether that changes because of worlds, I don't know. But we'll start off with preparation. Like, I could start off with the Dear Servant, which would pretty much get you the exact same outcome, but I'd rather use preparation as a bit of a bait. So the preparation one I want to go for first is going to be Brionac. I'm going to use Brionac, because this then lets me add any Nekroz monster. So I'm going to go for my starter in the form of the Advance. We'll then normal summon down Advance, use the effect to special summon one from the deck. We're going to go for Amelia. Amelia will then allow us to grab a Nekroz monster or a spell. I'm going to go for a Nekroz monster. And I'm going to go for the Abrid Hair just because I want to protect against, like, maybe an interaction on the Dear Servant and maybe an interaction of a Nibiru. Like, you got the best of both worlds in this one. We're then going to activate the Divine Mirror. This will let us tribute off the Amelia to bring us summon down the Abrid Hair, which means that if our opponent does interact with us with a monster effect, we can negate it. It then also means that we can banish the Divine Mirror and banish the Amelia, just to guarantee it, to search us out a Nekroz spell. And the spell you're going to want to go to is the one that revives from the graveyard, and the one that revives from the graveyard is the Cycle. Now, the reason that we banish those two and not the Brionac is that if our opponent, for some way or another, was able to stop any of our further plays from this point on, I still have Circle to tribute off the Advance to bring back the Brionac, and then I get to add these both back to the hand because this card was tributed. So that's why you want to be a little bit cautious on that one. Not to mention, if I wanted to use this now, I could very easily do. And then what would happen is, when I activate preparations, I add the Cycle back to the hand. So I'm just in, like, double dreamland. I'm not going to do that because I still have Nadir Servant and I still have preparations. I still have so much more that I can do with this hand. But that's just something to keep in mind. We'll now activate Nadir Servant. I don't plan to go into my extra deck, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. We'll send the Tri-Brigade Arms. We'll resolve the Nadir Servant to get us access to the Maximus. I should be able to window lock my opponent and set up a Trish play, which is kind of what I'm aiming to do. So we'll add the Maximus. We'll then trigger off the Tri-Brigade effect. This will then let us send Garura. We then get to shuffle up and draw a random card before we invest any further into the deck. So draw a random card. Divine Mirror, absolutely fine. We'll then summon down the Maximus by banishing either the Garura or the Tri-Brigade. It doesn't matter which one you banish. We'll then use Maximus effect to send 2 with different names from the extra deck. So send App Cologne and your Herald. Resolve the ones that you think are most important. Now, with this particular field lineup, I would actually plan to resolve. I would go Chainlink 1, the Shadowll, Chainlink 2, the Herald. And the reason that I would do that is because if my opponent wants to stop the Herald, probably a little bit late to do so, but if they do, I'll be like, yeah, it's fine, I don't mind that. So what we'll do here off the back of the Herald is we'll get access to a Ritual monster. Now, because I'm trying to set up the Nekroz Divine Mirror play, I'm actually going to want to go for something like either a Trishula, if I want to do it during my opponent's turn, or, because I've got the Cycle, I actually am going to go for the Metaltron to give me another form of disruption. I'm also then going to be able to add the Shadowll Schism, and the benefit of having the Cycle back now is that I can discard the Metaltron, which is absolutely fine, because then I can Ritual Summon it back from the graveyard. So we'll discard that, because obviously we're discarding off the back of the App Clone, you add one and discard one. Then we'll activate the Cycle. The Cycle will tribute off the Advance to then let us Ritual Summon back from the graveyard. So we'll bring back the Metaltron. In doing so, we'll be able to trigger off the Advance, and the Advance will allow us to grab back these 2 from the graveyard. And now we can activate Preparation of Rites, and Preparation of Rites will allow us to add one from the deck that is level 7 or lower. So we could add Yugioh, but I want to wind lock my opponent, so this isn't going to be quite helpful for me. We can also add a Brionac, or we can actually add the Kalasios. I personally feel the Kalasios might be a little bit more effective if I'm trying to set up the Divine Mirror during my opponent's turn so that I've got another disruption. Otherwise, because I've already special summoned... actually, I haven't special summoned Amelia, so I can actually go for Trishula here. You can also go... what am I talking about Trishula? It's Kalasios or Yugioh. Class gets us a ritual spell, which we don't really have anything we want to summon. So I am just going to go for Class, because Class is the only one. I was on the right train of thought. Class is the only one. I can also recycle back the cycle from the graveyard. Just having a quick look at the grave. Perfect. So now what we're going to do here is we can set the Dominus Impulse. Nice. We'll set the Schism. I'm actually going to set the Divine Mirror. And then we're going to pass to our opponent's turn. Now the best thing about Divine Mirror is it says total levels equal or exceed. God, I wish all of the Nekroz said the exact same thing. But with that being said, passing to my opponent's turn, this is going to be pretty crazy. Because what we have is during my opponent's turn, if I really, really want to, I can tribute off pretty much anything with the Abrid Hair. But I've got the ability to banish the Metaltron and banish one of my opponent's monsters. I've got the ability to negate a monster effect, but I've also got the ability, at whichever point I really choose is going to be the most effective, to activate the Schism, to banish the App Clone and the Tri-Brigade. And I'm banishing a Shaddoll monster and a Dark monster, which will then give me Winder. So, if anything threatens to attack the Winder, I Metaltron, banish both and both. Then I still have the ability of activating the Dominus Impulse if I want. I still have the ability to activate the Divine Mirror, overpaying the cost by getting rid of the Maximus, to then get me down the Class. And again, if there's another card that will threaten the Winder, I can use Class's Quick Effect during your player's turn to target a face-up monster on the field, reduces attack to 0, and then negates effects. So I've got that. I still have the ability, if I want to use the Abrid Hair. Like, there's just so many different ways I can interact with my opponent. And then as this turn ends, what's going to happen is the Metaltron's going to come back, the Abrid Hair's going to come back. So this card gets banished to the end phase, and if I do, I banish that opponent's monster permanently. So this all comes back. I draw for turn, not that it matters what it is. Brionac, brokenly good. Winder can't attack directly, but at the moment, there is 5,800 damage on the field there. I still have the Amelia that can special summon herself down. So I've got the Brionac still in the graveyard. I've also got the ability to banish the Divine Mirror if I want to, with the Brionac if I wanted to, but that'd be a little bit crazy to do that before I special summon down the Amelia, even though I've got the Kalasios on the field as well. So, and keep in mind, if I special summon down the Amelia now, I'm under my own Winder lock. So that's the only special I can do, and then it means I can't ritual summon. So there are pros and cons to it, you just need to keep that in mind. But even then, we're at 58, 60, 70, 74, 86. So just this is 86 OTK. Like, ignore the Winder attacking. But that's that. And if I really want to, I could just normal summon down the Amelia. And the Amelia searches me out a Nekroz monster or spell. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Activate Divine Mirror or activate Cycle and ritual summon into a Brionac. Like, obviously, you probably want to put the Winder in the extra monster zone if I'm going to do something like that. But you kind of get the idea that I've Winder locked my opponent and I've backed it up with a monster negate, a banish that if something threatens it, and then the Kalasios is not the worst thing to have either. So that's like your dream scenario. Like, having all those, like, cards is insane. It just sucks against Draw and Lockbird. But part of the game. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shuffle this up. I would like to try and show you the way that you can play around Droll, but you do need a very specific hand. And the way you play around Droll is that you need to get access to the Abrid Hair without searching it. So you need to hard open up the Abrid Hair, and then that gives you the ability to negate a monster effect. And then you go for the Arrival, or the Advance, sorry, and the Advance gets you access to your Shurit. And then Shurit, once you use it as ritual fodder, doesn't make much of a difference. So we're going to shuffle up, we're going to cut up, and we're going to go for a second test hand. Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you definitely saw me shuffle, so this is wild. Brionac. Again, we don't really play around Droll, which is not nice, but again, part of it. So Brionac, get you access to your starter and your advance. Normal the advance. Special out the Amelia. Amelia now gets you access to a Bridhair, because that's the monster negate you want. Wherever it may be. There we go. It's really annoying. This is the only one that's not a secret. Activate the Divine Mirror, tribute off the Amelia. This is like your ideal combo, because this just protects you from this point on. And then you also get the ability to banish and banish. You can leave the Brio in the grave if you want to, so you probably go banish and banish. Search you out a Nekroz spell. I've already got the cycle, so maybe Kaleidoscope. Doesn't make much of a difference here because I'm not really. This isn't going to be as impactful. Like the best thing I'm going to get here is I'm going to go cycle, tribute off the advanced, bring back the Brionac. Advanced effect to grab you these both back to the hand. Set the Divine Mirror. And then, really annoyingly, I can special summon down the Amelia. But then I lose all the effects. It just isn't really getting you anywhere. But at the base minimum, what will happen? Yeah, I think what's going to happen here is I've got the monster negate off the back of the Bridhair, but I've also got the ability to activate the Divine Mirror, tribute off the Amelia, summon down the class, and again, negate and reduce. Negate a monster effect, and then Ash. So that's still 3 interactions. It's not as much recursion as I would have liked. But even then, as this comes back to my turn, you draw for turn. Another Ash, okay. But then we also have the ability to banish the Divine Mirror and banish Advance as our starter. Grab us. Kind of need to get one of these to the graveyard, which is absolutely fine. So if we grab Divine Mirror, does that help us here? No, we kind of need a circle, but we've just gone through circles. I suppose we go for a Divine Mirror at the moment. There isn't really a lot we can get off the back of this, which is quite annoying. But if class was to turn something to 0, we've got the effect of this to return 2 monsters special from the extra deck to the hand. I could normal summon down the Ash Blossom to try and link something off, but I don't think we really get as much advantage. This is the biggest downside of Nekroz, is that sometimes you'll either have too many monsters or too many spells. But even then, we've got 33, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 8 is what I've got on the field right now. So unless there was a way to upgrade the Nekroz of class, there's not really a lot. Unless they summon twice from the extra deck and then I'm like, cool, upgrade, but the Bridhair just goes into Typhon, which isn't ideal. I could go for a Dynamundo. Yeah, there's not really like a huge amount more on this one, unfortunately. Yeah, but still, they have to deal with... You'd probably just keep the Calassius around. You'd probably just go call a Bridhair poke, Brionac poke, and then you've got like your tributes and loops and negates with this one. So, not perfect, nowhere near the same as the first test stand, but if the deck was perfect and got that test stand 100% of the time, then, you know, it'd be competing on the top tables. Anyway, now what we'll do is we'll go second. Now, Nekroz is a little bit weirder going second because you still want to go for the Bridhair to give you the negations, but then you also have the option to go for Trishula, which Trishula will start to clear some elements out, and that's kind of like their most aggressive option, but yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So we're going to shuffle this one up. We're going to cut up. Oh, hello. And then we'll go for our starting test stand, going second this time, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we've ashed our opponent. 6. Okay. This is going to be a lot harder to play through interactions, for the pure fact that you just go normal summon advance, and I'll be amazed if in the modern game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There is no way to stop the advance. It would be absolutely crazy. You can try and break out with the Brionac first if you want to, but entirely up to you. Do I want access to Shrit or Amelia? Probably Amelia. So we use Amelia's effect on this one. Get us access to the Divine Mirror. Activate the Divine Mirror, tribute off the Amelia, get us access to the Bridhair. That goes to the graveyard. Now we've got the ability to banish both of these from the graveyard, get us access to a Nekroz spell. So let's go with Kaleidoscope because that's the best one we can have access to right now. Do I want to go Unicorn? I probably could, you know. So if I go Kaleidoscope, use Oh, not Kaleidoscope, sorry. Use Brionac, Doi, get me Yugioh. Activate Kaleidoscope to summon down the Yugioh. Send in, you guessed it, Herald of the Arc Light. Herald's effect, grab me a Nekroz Ritual Monster. So let's go for one of our big Mac Daddies. Let's go for Trishula. And then we can get both of these actually. We'll activate Cycle, treat off the advance. Bring back Brio. Effective advance, add these two back to the hand. Brio's effect, target 2 monsters from the extra deck, put them back to the extra deck. And then we can special summon down the Amelia, because we've got a warrior. And then we can activate the mirror, treat off the Amelia for our Trishula. Trishula banishes 1 from hand, 1 from field, 1 from grave. And then we're pushing in for OTK. So 3, so that's 6k there, 8, 10, 10, 6 in total. So remember the Amelia was summoned from the deck from the advance rather than its own effect. So you can use its own effect once per turn, and you can use the search effect once per turn, but the level requirements is not a once per turn, so you can just use that as many times as you possibly need to. So, yeah, really kind of cool. Very aggressive, but, you know, that was quite an ideal scenario to be in, but it just didn't play through a lot, and that's why I feel a deck like this probably needs a bit more space to be able to play stuff like Droplets maybe, probably Dark Rulers, but I don't think there's like a single breaker card. It's where you probably need to rely on Fualos to mitigate what your opponent can kind of set up. Anyway, final test stand going second. So, decent shuffle, decent cut, starting hand of 5, moving into 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty good. 6, Yugioh. I mean, this hand's pretty crazy. I don't want to use the normal summon of Amelia. I really want to save that. So, to do that, is the big question. How do we want to do this? So, I can go Kaleidoscope, send Herald, get Yugioh, straight away turn off my opponent's extra deck monsters, which is going to be quite useful. Trigger Herald's effect, grabbing us a ritual monster or a ritual spell. So let's go for Brionac. Discard the Brionac, grab us access to the advance. Normal advance, advance effect to special. This time we're going to special out Shurit. We've now got the ability to discard the class. Actually, I don't even need to discard the class. I can now special summon down the Amelia. Amelia's effect, grab us a Nekroz spell. Let's go for the Divine Mirror. Activate Divine Mirror, use Shurit to get us into the Abrid Hair. Shurit's effect grabs us a warrior. So let's grab Trishula. Where are you? Trishula. Divine Mirror is currently in the graveyard. There we go. Banish Divine Mirror and banish Brionac. Grab us the Mirror. Activate Mirror. Banishing Shurit. Summon down Trishula. Trishula, banish 1 from field, hand, and graveyard. This should be enough for OTK. We're currently not locked out the extra deck because I haven't used Nadir Servant yet. So I could, if I wanted to, make a rank 4 like a Daguerres, but I don't think I really need to. And I've also got the ability to activate Nadir Servant. I wouldn't really get a lot from this because you need to get another ritual spell, which is doable because I'd go, cool, send the Tri-Brigade, search out Maximus, shuffle up because the Tri-Brigade's going to send the Garura. Send Garura. Draw 1 card off of Garura. Ash Blossom, absolutely fine. Obviously Nadir's gone. Can't bring down the Maximus yet because obviously the whole main monster zones are completely full up, but I do have the ability of utilising the Classius. Did I banish the Brio? I did banish the Brio really early. That was very silly of me. Absolutely fine. Do this. Whoop. We will get Circle. There we go. Activate Circle. True off the advance. This then brings back the Classius, which in turn triggers off the advance to add back as many of our banished Nekroz. So we get to add back all 3 of these, which is crazy good. Still got a clogging on the main monster zones, which is absolutely fine because again, we've got the effect to negate and reduce to 0, and then we're going in for 6k there, 7, 8, 3, 9, 9. And if I want to keep this in attack, we've got 11, 1. Plus we've got the ability to set the Divine Mirror. Now, obviously this is all uninterrupted. I highly, highly expect you're going to get interrupted with this deck, so I'm not pitching this as... Nice. I'm not pitching this as like the most broken Yu-Gi-Oh deck in the entire world. But this is still a really, really fun deck. It's a deck that I think the new support is really, really good. I think you can pick up the new support relatively cheaply. Like the Metaltron is £1.50. The Advance is like £1.50. The Mirror was like 60p. And the most expensive card was the Amelia, wherever she may be, at £8 a copy. This might come down in price the closer we get to like the set being out a little bit and settling down and the next core set and everything else in between. But it's a really kind of cool new wave of support for this set, or for this deck specifically, and I really do enjoy it. Anyway, I hope this test down video has given you a bit of an insight into the deck, what it can do. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.